we have institutional run clubs. In most institutional run clubs, football is under the corporate social responsibility.
Okay.
It's not an SBU.
Okay.
It's
okay.
giving back. Tinongoitawo zvebhora zvokuti mukada kutinetsa tinodzura tinobvisa
team. Pull the plug.
Hello everyone and welcome to Strictly Football. My name is Innocent Mayenga.
And I'm Bevan Shinrai. Unfortunately today we don't have the good guy. That's Valentine Mabuku. He has got some commitment somewhere.
Wait, what? Is what?
The good guy.
Valentine. Yeah,
you think he's not a good guy. He's a good guy.
Since when? When did the change come about?
Well, we'll talk about that when it comes.
Right, cool.
We joined in this week's edition by Terrence Malunga from the First Instance Body. And we'll be unpacking a lot regarding what that is, what they do, and everything that we have been having that is within their jurisdiction. That has actually been a problem in our football throughout over the past years and currently now. We are having a lot of issues regarding the area of jurisdiction. Welcome to the show, Eric.
Thank you guys for having me. Maybe let me just be on record.
Yeah.
And dispel. I'm not here on official capacity. you probably get me chest. Yeah. But anyway, it's part of the FIB board and member of the FIB. And most interestingly, I think Bevan have to acknowledge that it's the FIB in itself and the interest that they have, the jurisdiction that they have, and the mandate that they have goes hand in hand with what I do or what we do. Why I'm referring to we, because all of us have been part of the Zimbabwe Football Forum, which is a platform that all of us have been pushing to create to discuss the transformation and professionalization of football, which is at the centerpiece of FIB. It's interesting because when I hear about FIB in the context of Zim, it's always about homologation of pitches.
Wait, what? It's not.
It's not.
What? So what do you guys do? What do you guys do?
So this is why I'm saying I'm not here on official capacity. Again, just to
disclaimer.
It's a disclaimer.
It's okay. You're safe. Yes, Terrence.
I'm here as Terrence.
Right.
I have to be in a safe space.
So as to educate the viewers what First Instance Body is
all about. Because the challenge that we do have is when we talk about FIB, or when we don't even talk about the club licensing, the system that is bringing about the FIB.
Okay.
We straight away go to FIB, and from FIB, it's always to do with homologation of pitches.
So in other words, you're saying there is a difference between club licensing and FIB. Can you just take us through maybe step by step, right? So that people out there get to understand the difference between these two animals in court.
All right, let me just at least now you guys. I mean, you're just as good as my brothers, and you have been in football for a while, and you are the sportcasters. And this is what I've realized, even in the media, they always want to put FIB close to homologation of pitches, which is in any way is correct, but partly correct.
All right.
But because when we look at club licensing, what is club licensing? I think it's something that has. Let me start from right at the top. Right, when you talk of club licensing at FIFA level, this is FIFA 0.2 to now FIFA 0.3, which is aiming at growing the game.
All right.
And obviously, if I want to put it in the very colloquial and closer home, the leaving no one behind.
All right.
Okay.
Where you have FIFA with the FIFA Forward funds trying to make sure that the previously disenfranchised, or not necessarily disenfranchised, or previously marginalized regions within its membership also get to develop and get to be competitive.
Right.
So the only way that they realize how to do it, obviously, was the FIFA Forward funds that they've been trying to churn out to ensure that at least certain member associations also get to grow.
Okay.
Because we are not all on the same level.
Same level.
Exactly. So if you fast forward, what club licensing is all about, it's one primarily to do with growing the game.
All right.
Okay.
Right. These are the pillars of club licensing.
Okay.
The second thing is enhancing experience. What experience? Let me just go straight to it. On was it on Friday when Dynamos was playing Yada?
Yeah.
You get to a pitch, right? Imagine as a first instance board who in any way has homologated that very pitch.
Yeah, we'll get to that one.
But you can't even get in the pitch.
All right.
Right? That you have actually homologated because you have all these bouncers pushing you around. And this is a true fact. I got myself pushed from the main gate, right? And this is after we had indicated all these issues to say, no, look, the entire aspect of having football or of having sport is the entertainment. Yeah, which is a big industry.
All right.
And the reason also why we have been missing out as a country, I think this is what we have been pushing as Zimbabwe Football Forum, is to identify the spaces that we have been missing out and see ways and aspect that we can improve so that we can frustrate ourselves.
All right.
And it's easy to do it if you appreciate what club licensing is. So it's enhancing the experience. When you go there with Mike Bevan, yeah, you need to get there and you know that we are safe. All right, safe from any mayhem, safe from any chaos. The second thing, you need to know that we are safe in terms of the health status. So if you go to the toilet has to be
clean.
It has to be clean, yeah. And if you are there, you want to eat, you need to eat from a safe, right, well maintained and healthy, outlet. Yeah, this is club licensing because you're going there for entertainment. You had a very drastic week, hectic week, and you want to go there to refresh. If you look at, let's go to the UK because we are more exposed to EPL. If you go to EPL, I've had an opportunity of being in a couple of matches. You probably go there around 11, 12, depending with what time you want to go. And when you get in there are a lot of food courts, there are a lot of pubs where you can drink from. If you get to the toilets, you think you're in a hotel. So this is the experience that FIFA is pushing. We don't want to go to the pitch and obviously get to be involved in chaos. It's chaotic to get in. It's chaotic even to stay in the pitch because somebody behind you is busy singing
unruly songs. Unruly songs.
I didn't want to go there, but to get the experience. Maybe I might go there with my wife. I might go there even with my mom-in-law. We should be able to have that feel.
The environment should be friendly.
Friendly. Exactly.
It kind of contributes to whatever then happens in the stadium. Imagine you're frustrated, you're trying to get into the pitch, you can't. Bouncers have been pushing you around. You're trying to protect your missus and your kid, and you get in there, and then you're supporting your team. Let's say Dynamos goes 1-0 down, 2-0 down, and you're like, I'm not jaded. You know what I mean? It's always, the atmosphere is already tense before even the match starts.
Exactly. This is the experience, and the third pillar is creating or developing strong institutions.
All right.
What are these institutions? Right. Obviously, we look at the governance institutions, right? And because we're looking at club licensing, it goes to the club. The club is an institution.
All right.
And it's unfortunate that from the tiny experience that I've had with Zim clubs, we don't have clubs. We have teams. There's always a difference. The three of us.
What then is the difference between a club and a team?
Okay, a club is an institution that has systems that are viable and that are running. And a team is you and me, the three of us. We need 8 more to have a team. Then we just go out there, get ourselves a kit, and we're a team. We don't have any stakeholders to answer to. We don't have any stakeholders to satisfy. This is literally what a team is all about.
Wait, are you saying that the majority of teams in the PSL are teams,
dude?
Not clubs.
I'm here today on an official capacity, but from what I've realized, you'd realize you get to a club, right? We'll talk about the other aspects of what club licensing is. You get to a club as big as most of the clubs in the country, and you have one.
He was about to name a club. But
exactly,
it's okay.
I was about to. But you get there, you see one person running the whole club. The whole club.
One person, as in you. Absence of secretariat.
Isn't it administrator? They call it an
administration.
Administrator.
There's nothing. There's just one person.
Just one person running the entire club.
Wait, they doing the day-to-day running of the club. Media lies on
every other thing you think of. Okay, because I want to take you to there are these series that we had of clubs. What do they call them? I still remember I watched the one for Tottenham. The ones that we were on Amazon.
It was
the one on Amazon. I think if I if I remember,
all or something. What was
yeah,
that?
all or nothing.
All or nothing.
something
Yeah,
like
all
that.
or nothing. If you look at all or nothing, there was a point when Danny Levy, the Tottenham president, was saying we employ 519 employees in Tottenham Hotspur. In Tottenham Hotspur, 519
All right.
employees, and this shows you that this is an institution.
An institution.
Exactly, it's as big as other banks that we have in the country. It's as big as, even in terms of the revenue, it's way bigger than most of the banks that we have in this country. So when we look at clubs, we might not get there over a year,
Yeah.
All right.
but we must be actively, applying ourselves deliberately to get there. This is where club licensing comes in.
Okay.
And let me just go straight
All right.
to what club licensing is. I think I've tried to touch it. So club licensing is they essentially to professionalize the clubs.
All right.
So if we talk of the professionalization of the clubs, is how do we apply ourselves as a club to ensure that we are profitable, to ensure that we actually relate more to our to our fund
stakeholders,
engagement, all the entire stakeholders, and also in terms of what do you call it, our regulatory compliance, or our compliance issues. It's funny that in Zim right now we don't have any sports lawyers in the country. I think I bet I might be the only one who is referring to himself as a sports lawyer. We don't have, but when you look at sport, you can't run a sport without a lawyer. Simply because all football is statutes, it's rules, it's regulations.
Let me just butt in. Before we even venture much forward, in terms of enforcement, is this enforceable? That is the club licensing, because we can just be talking about something, right, that people can choose to have or choose not to have. Is it, according to football statutes, enforceable?
It is enforceable. So as the name denotes, it's club licensing.
Okay.
Yeah. So you have a set of minimum requirements. These are called, if you go in the club licensing statutes, they're called core processes.
All right.
So it's core processes in the terms of the minimum requirements. So what FIFA then did is they had a framework, club licensing framework. So this speaks to the confederations and the member associations.
All right.
So with FIFA, then you cascade it down to the confederations. The confederation then come down and say, okay, where we are, what are the minimum that we need? Hence why you have had, we can't play football in Zim.
All right.
Simply because we don't meet certain bare minimums of what an international CAF stadium ought to
You're
be.
not making it sound any better. Bare minimum. All right.
Yes. Then we come then to member associations. So in our scenario, we have ZIFA, which is the member association, which has jurisdiction of all football in the country. So they have to sit down, come up with a national regulation, national club regulation. Which
Do we have that?
Yeah, we do.
And it's in place now.
It is in place, but the challenge that we have with that one is we simply took the FIFA one. I mean the CAF. We didn't necessarily put it as contextualize it and put it as a compressed document where we have everything in it. I think it's a process. Hence why you have seen ZIFA have made what do you call it? They've float. So was it last month? A position of club licensing manager. I was gonna go there.
All right.
Because you can't run, right, a club licensing system without a club licensing manager. Because the club licensing manager is the one who has oversight.
So we don't have one.
We don't have one, is that?
So
according to FIFA right now, it's as good as we don't have a club licensing system in this country.
Zimbabwe.
Which basically means what for football? Is it professional, non-professional, or semi-professional? What does that entail?
You know what? At the end of the day, in most cases, it's always going to be discretionary and allowing us to play. But we are saying when we sit as we are and as progressive as we are, we need to then interrogate most of these things and say, are we doing the right thing? If you're not doing the right thing, are we making progress? If you're making progress, where are we? Yeah? And if we can't have a club licensing, because we're supposed to have a club licensing manager that runs or does even oversight. Because if you look at, okay, let's get into the club licensing. Yeah, you have a first instance board. What does a first instance board do? it grants licenses. It's as good as the licensing department for City of Ferrari.
All right.
Right? You are registered as a business with the companies, right? With the deed registry. But to operate, right, within the confines of
The
the
city.
local or
Yeah.
the local regulations, you have to apply for a license, whatever business that you are, through the local authority,
All
which
right.
is the City of Ferrari.
All right.
And the City of Ferrari has to grant or give you a license to operate
Okay.
within their jurisdiction. This is seemingly how the FIB comes in. So all clubs that are playing so far, the challenge that we have, these are the challenge which we will touch. The challenge that we have is club licensing is only applying to the Super League or to
Alright.
the Premier League,
Okay.
and not to the second tier, which is the Division 1. So you
Why?
have a scenario where a team is promoted and they are miles apart from what is required.
Why is that? Why is it that?
This is why I'm saying we have to sit down and be progressive to say how do we make sure that we professionalize and commercialize our football.
So, in other words, let me ask you this: ZIFA, as the custodian of local football, should make sure that all these requirements that are given to the Premier Soccer or to the Premier Football, let me put it as Premier Football,
Exactly.
cascade down to all structures, and we don't have that.
At the moment, we don't.
Wait, big question. Club licensing, new phenomena in Zimbabwe.
No, not really. It's surprising. I think the introduction of club licensing was 2006 when it was first introduced by FIFA, and now it's close to its 16th year. And every year we keep saying the same thing, and no progress really has been done.
Since 2006, when this was introduced, we didn't have a licensing manager.
We don't.
Since 2006, you're telling us that there hasn't been a licensing manager.
Dude, around 2006 I was still playing, man.
So is it because
I was actually the Division 1.
So why is it sound?
is it because we do not have candidates that fit the bill,
No.
or we don't see it as something that is important to our football?
Okay, bro. I think Beaver, you know very well. Last year, what we were driving, and one of our key during this Zimbabwe Football Forum was club football is the cornerstone of football development or football development in any country. This is true. Go to the UK, right? Okay, let's go. Let's not go far. Let's go to SA. I think we spoke about it when AFCON was going on.
Yeah.
The reason why SA went as far, we can always attribute it to Sundowns, which is a club that has been progressive.
An institution. So if in any case we want to fancy ourselves as football powers, we have to make sure that our clubs are viable, right? And talking about that, let's jump straight. I think I'll respond to the question that you posed. Let's jump straight to what clubs and licensing is all about. It has 5 criteria. So in Zim, we are so fixed at one of the criteria, which is just the 20%. Stadium homologation, bro.
Oh, that's
It's only 20%, right? We have other 4 very critical, because the 20% in most cases, most clubs don't have control over, because they don't
own
the facilities. They have to lease the facilities probably from or hire facilities probably from the local authorities, which is also a very local authorities being a key and critical stakeholder in our football. Right, the same applies with the government. But we have all these 4, and the funny thing is these 4 are the key criteria that the clubs have control over.
well,
These are what?
This one, we have the personal and administrative. So personal administrative, this is where it's critical. How many people do we have running the club? This is where the secretariat comes in. This is where the executive, the governance, the strategy, what you call it, the strategy board comes in, which is the executive, and probably over and above the executive, you have the owners and everything. And for your club, we know the presidium. Do you know an executive for Cape United? Do you have any executive at Cape United? There should be a very clear distinction between the presidium, the owners of the club, and the secretary. There should be an executive that runs that, obviously on a day-to-day or or in the interval before, if it's for Dynamos before the congresses, there has to be an executive that has an oversight on the secretariat. This is what we're essentially looking at is corporate governance structures. We know that there is the board, right? From the board, we know the board is obviously appointed based on the shareholders. They put the people in the board. Board comes up with strategies. Then we have got that, in most cases, be the MANCO, the management executive that runs on a day-to-day reporting to the board, and the MANCO, the senior is the CEO, running the company, which is literally what FIFA is trying to say. This is how you should govern your clubs if you want your clubs to be successful and profitable, and go everywhere you want to go in the world. We know who is our current Manchester United CEO. We know there is a CEO. Who is our current Manchester United chair? We know there is a chair. Why that distinction? But these are institutions and they run on systems. So we have personal and administrative. We have sporting. Sporting is critical. You can't have the only way we can sustain as a country is if we have grassroots development, football development. And how can we have grassroots football development if our main clubs don't have junior structures? I can tell you for a fact. You know what we're supposed to have as a country is a youth development program that obviously the authority, which is ZIFA, is supposed to draw up.
Right.
So with coming in of the technical director, what we are then expecting is to have a youth development policy. Right?
Sorry to butt in there, just hold on, don't forget the remaining two. I just want to find out what happened to that structure, because I remember yesterday you had a solid junior setup,
exactly,
which I was a part of. We actually had a running league. Dynamos had juniors, Caps United had juniors that I played for. Yes, you had Black Rhinos with a very strong junior police, Acadia, Black Aces, you go to Blawayo, Islanders,
all of them,
Zim Saints, everybody had a junior police. And it was a setup whereby as juniors would play as curtain raisers to probably the main game,
match,
which probably in a way was giving people a match day experience.
Thank you.
What then happened to that? Did we then, in the absence of FIFA club licensing, did we adhere to the club licensing requirements in the absence of a proper, club licensing set up, as since you said it only came around 2006?
Well, it might have come up to around 2006, and obviously let's look at the reason why FIFA had to put that. Like I said, there are other regions that we're way behind, like ourselves, which in any case believe in getting frameworks and regulations from institutions as good as FIFA. But regions that are non-progressive, at times they need to be constantly monitored or assisted to do the right things. But like you're saying, we didn't need FIFA club licensing before to have functional areas on football structures, football development structures, or junior structures. When I was growing up, I was in Mutari, but we would know that at least we're gonna play. There was Zupco, there was where Willard Kasande came from, NRZ. There was all these other very, very good junior clubs. And every weekend we would train from Tuesday to Friday. Then Saturday in the morning we're gonna have our matches. And if you're lucky, if Ndombolo was playing, Buffaloes was playing, you would then play in Saguva Stadium from 8 in the morning, probably up until around 2. That was the culture. And this was just the culture, and this was prior club licensing. So I think there was somehow we dropped the ball along the way, and obviously dropping the ball speaks to our governance. We haven't been really taking football seriously, and for some like ourselves and yourself, this has been our life. You obviously you're in media, but you're still in football. This is what football has always been. What football has always been for you, and same applies to myself. If I if in any case I speak about football, obviously I speak about it with passion, because it has taken me from this a way of life that was quite marginalized to a better life and greater exposure. So we have people who just all along the way came about as opportunists. They came in our football, okay, making reference to our football. It's our football in any way. It's everybody's football. But they came in not necessarily with the passion, but obviously with other ulterior motives that comes along with occupying obviously positions of influence within our football. So this is where we have actually dropped the ball. But we had a very, very vibrant junior football, which in any way, I mean, you know my history. I was recruited by the Shinesuka Academy from Mutare to Harare, and this was 2001 thereabout, and this was prior club licensing, but we had a very functional junior football structure. So this is one critical, right? The sporting criteria, and along with the sporting criteria comes women's football, and as a country, if you're gonna talk about World Cup in the nearest possible future, is women through the women's football. And what better way or what better structures to actually pioneer and spearhead the process than clubs that already have functional structures? So
it's a requirement as per
at CAF.
club licensing.
Well, not in our context, but at CAF level, it's a requirement.
So
what about what about in our context? If I'm going to get a club license, should my club have a women's team?
No, not as that.
Not as yet.
Not as that.
But I should have a junior team.
You should have at least one junior team that is playing.
Okay.
So in other words, you're saying there is room for there to be a difference between the club licensing as prescribed by CAF and a local the member association.
Exactly.
Can you have a different setup?
Yeah, because
and drop some
because like we say, because the basic requirement, right, in most cases has to do with the certain things that are like what I explained about the sporting. At least let's have one junior team.
Right.
But in most cases we saying let's have junior teams that are playing from under 10 to under 19. That's at CAF level, right? That's why you have a scenario where we had clubs before that were playing in the African Safari running to have women's football teams. We saw that with Dynamos at some point, because CAF is a requirement. It's a minimum requirement that you should have a functional
ladies team
playing.
Yeah, I've seen. I think they've registered their ladies team just recently.
Recently, yeah.
Yeah, because I was going to ask. Sorry to just cut you. I was just going to ask and say, if then you're going to have a different club licensing system to that of CAF. What happens then when you play in the CAF
Champions League,
in the CAF international games? You simply need to have.
So
I mean, you should replicate what CAF have.
So the challenge that we have is a country where we are a bit behind. So that's why in most cases, but you know what? When you
I think you need that one.
Which one? This one.
we
you know what? We have allowed ourselves to deal with mediocrity. We don't want to do the best. Hence why in most cases in Zim, you know what? I was in the banking sector, you know that, yeah?
Yeah.
Obviously got an opportunity to go to the UK for a master's. But when I came back, one thing that dawned pretty quickly was Zim doesn't work on merit. It's a different system. No matter how good you might be at what you do, probably if you don't know the right person, you probably won't be able to really do what you do best. So this is what is as a country we have really lowered ourselves to be where we just accept mediocrity. I agree with you. The best bet is let's just go CAF standards. But then we come to let's go to the just as an example. If you're gonna go to CAF standard, do we even have a single stadium that is entirely bucket seated? But that's a CAF standard. It's the general.
Yeah,
CAF standard.
we are actually coming to the stadium issue because we have got a new development.
No, but before he does it, he still has two more.
Yeah, two more.
Two more.
We're not going there yet. We will finish. But since yet, alluded to
about
it.
stadiums.
I was just telling we are going there because
Okay.
we've got some developments that we need him to
confirm.
and unpack
not
for us as
not a problem. We'll get there. But the challenge, this is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So we have the CAF standards. We have the FIFA standards. You know, FIFA and CAF. If you look at them, juxtapose them, you'd see there's a slight difference because of to do with the jurisdiction and the uniqueness of the jurisdiction.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'd have, if you juxtapose, you see. This is why it also cascades down to say from an MA perspective, right? The member association perspective, we lower certain standards. I still remember the last time in terms of on the personnel and administrative, there is a technical, right? Where we say what's the qualification for the head coach.
All right.
It was CAF A, right? But last year we said let's lower it to CAF B.
CAF B.
Sorry. Just yeah. I need to ask something there. We had the best practice, in my view, where we are saying, for somebody to be coaching, they need to have the highest qualification as per CAF.
All right.
Right. Then we then go, we take it down to say, okay, instead of CAF A, let's go to CAF B. Aren't we lowering our standards? And aren't we then going to where you alluded to say we are then accepting and settling for mediocrity? Or we are doing it to accommodate certain individuals who do not have the required CAF A to...
Yeah, before you answer that, there's part B to that. Who's deciding that no, A is too much, B is okay? B is okay.
Well, obviously in our scenario, it's the appointing authority.
All right.
Or the licensor, which is the Football Association. That's the license. So obviously the license obviously speaks and obviously relates to its own stakeholders.
What do you mean to tell me in Zimbabwe we don't have enough CAF A licensed coaches?
No, dude. I'll give you an example. I've got brothers who have CAF A who are actually assistant coaches.
So why is it that we then decided?
No. You know what? To be quite frank, I wasn't part of the decision. That's for a fact.
All right.
And if I look at it, it's us going back. And obviously the argument was we haven't been having CAF a what do you call it? Courses for a while.
Yeah, but for me, that's not a strong argument, Terrence. You know why? I'm a journalist, right? If there are no colleges that are training journalists in Zimbabwe, and I want to work as a journalist in Zimbabwe, I will go to places where they are training journalists and get a qualification so that I can work.
You know what? I totally do concur. Like I told you, I'm probably, I wouldn't know the entire market, but I'm probably one of the very first few who are doing a master's in sports law. And believe you me, I'm actually breaking a leg and an arm because I'm doing it with a university in Spain. All because across Africa we don't have a postgrad that deals with sports law.
Okay.
There's no postgrad in Africa that deals with sport law. So I totally do concur. In terms if you want to be the best, obviously you have to go an extra mile. But in terms of, I mean, like I said, when it comes to obviously to the Football Association, it has a lot of stakeholders and a lot of interest that it has to balance.
All right.
So I'm sensing probably they've realized, and if you look at the transitional period that we are in, the coming in of the of the NC, probably they have got a lot of things that they are trying to normalize in the process, and that one being one of it.
Also,
so
they are trying to normalize. That is probably one thing they are trying to normalize, as you put it. But then, is it normalizing? When you're moving from, super grade to.
Wait, how is that normal? No, how is that normal? You take a chingo every day, Dara, and that no family will normalize it. To normalize.
No. You know what?
Yeah.
Like I'm saying, we most of these things when these decisions are being taken, well, we're not very much involved.
You're not a part of it.
Yeah, you and me as well. We might be stakeholders, but we're not involved to actually debate it.
These are decisions that we get to announce as the media, but we don't even know what
informed the decision. So probably maybe the best person to answer that would be whatever whatever.
The NC chairman.
No, not really. Probably maybe whoever is in light of the reasons of downgrading to B.
But don't you think the NC chairman would know?
You'd probably know.
So I think we would need to
We
have
need- we need
to
the
have-
NC
we
chairman.
need to have the NC
Is
chairman.
he back from Mutare? He's back.
We'll find out.
These are all the other issues that at some point we have to candidly sit down and talk about like what we are doing right now. That's why I said I'm not here on any capacity. I'm just here as Terrence, as a former footballer who loves football. That's why I'm here. And obviously the beautiful thing is at least I have had a little bit of exposure of obviously being in the FIB and also actively involved in discourse around professionalizing the transformation of football.
Okay, did we touch on who gets to appoint the FIB?
We'll go there. So the other two critical. Let me just
Yeah.
finish up. We said there's a sporting, there is a personal and administrative, there is a finance.
Finance.
Finance is another very interesting one because you can never run a club without a budget. How can you run a household
There's no
without a
such
budget?
thing as zero budget.
No, because you need to draw up a budget, right? As the year starts and see where are we getting our finances from.
All right.
But now, because this is a critical, it's the finance for crying out loud. It's the money that runs the clubs, the money that speaks to the stakeholders. So the normal or what these are bare minimum requirements. We need a full-time finance officer for every club. We don't need a treasurer, but the treasurer is part of the executive. So you'd have an argument where a club will say there's a treasurer.
Who does everything?
No, treasurer is an oversight. This is an executive, probably most cases a non-executive because they don't do the business on a day-to-day basis. So we need a finance officer that deals with the club finance on a day-to-day basis.
Who says so much is coming, so
Exactly.
much is going out,
Exactly.
we're getting so much from where? And
How do we cut? Okay, if we don't receive from there, where do we get it? Because that's why you realize in Zim, you'd have a scenario where players are not paid. They're not paid simply because we're not working on a budget. But if you look at a budget, you have your budget items, your budgeted items, and the next thing that you look at is where am I going to get the money from? Okay, from the parent sponsor. He say they're giving us 700. Are we able to stretch ourselves and get other partners, financial, non-financial, that come in and assist? If they come in and assist, to what extent would that give us a leeway to play around with our bonuses and our finances? Or a quick one. I was telling Bevan, I was at Ghana's at some point. Okay, this is where I grew up, right? But I still remember one day you'd have the boss coming in and say, "Give me a nice FY." And it,
What do you mean?
"Buga win a nice $500."
Wait, this
as
is
in
not
winning
stint.
bonus.
Winning
Winning
bonus.
bonus.
Winning bonus.
All right.
And Tudofara, because we're young. But now in hindsight, if I think about that, that's where the financial discipline and financial management, that's why you would realize in most cases, individual run clubs in Zim, they don't survive. Because they don't have these
There's no
professionals.
system.
They don't have these professional structures. Because the only way I get to give you a bonus is probably when you win a cup that isn't budgeted.
Yeah, there's revenue that came in.
That came in. When you simply come in and say, "Five wire and us boys," because what we are forgetting is next week we have an obligation in my salaries, and the other week we probably have an obligation for TMA winning bonuses
bonus.
and operational. Mabazi opfana, my chichi opfana, general. But simply because at club licensing, we don't have proper club licensing, and they do. I don't go to 5Y, not knowing that it's training themselves
budget, yeah.
financially, right, or their income financially for the club. That's why you'd realize most cases. That's where Anadesi and FAS come in. Most cases, clubs are not being able to pay because we are not necessarily looking at the finances in a way that they're supposed to be.
I'm just thinking about it, guys. The way you are explaining it is that the moment that we have these structures, we're already thinking like you were saying, we're already thinking if revenue is coming, this amount of revenue is coming, we've got these amount of expenses. What do we need to do to bring in revenue? And that totally changes the whole thing, because now we need to sit down and have a strategy as a club to make sure that revenue comes in and this club is sustainable. And like you mentioned, if you're a club owner and there are stakeholders that are there that have also invested in this club, you are now accountable. You can't just make decisions and say, no, Daguisa 500, because these guys will be like, from where? I've invested in this. I also want my share.
So let me just quickly touch on sports investment. This is a phenomenon that we have seen with American investment firms and venture capitals coming into the UK to invest, because for them it's a business, right? When they look at a club, at the brand, it's not a club. It's a commercial entity.
Yeah.
It's a commercial brand. So we are a bit behind in terms of appreciating what sport is. There's a fully fledged industries where obviously every other profession you think of is involved. Think of investment bankers, they're now in football. Think of lawyers, sport lawyers, they're very much in football. Right? For example, FIFA is all run by lawyers anyway. So look at the sportcasters, the media personnel. They are all in football, marketers, they are all in football. It's a big industry. So the moment there's a baby, that's what I'm saying, we are so much behind. And this is probably what we have been pushing with the forum, to say, no, look, let's start thinking around this is industry as a self-sustaining, a progressive. And obviously as an industry that can take a lot of people away from poverty. Because we have the manpower, we have the people that can do the job. We're not short on that. But what we are short on is the mindset of thinking around that areas. So if you go to most clubs, they don't have a finance officer. So the money comes straight from the parent, the sponsor. And in most cases, the club doesn't even know how much the sponsor is giving out for the year.
Who knows?
No, nobody knows. You simply make, if the sponsor tells you they don't have money, they don't have money. But how is it supposed to happen?
Aren't we bound by some contractual agreements to say, okay, we are Jemba Investments, and we are coming to take to into bed with you, and we'll give you so much.
So Bevan, let me interject. We have institutional run clubs. In most institutional run clubs, football is under the corporate social responsibility.
Okay.
It's not an SPU.
Okay.
It's giving back. Tinongoitawo zvebhora zvokuti mukada kutinetsa tinodzura tinobvisa
pull the plug. You go the Mangura way. You go the.
Do you realize?
All those defunct. Yeah.
Because now probably maybe they are saying now. Most institutions have realized with FC Platinum, obviously they have their FC Platinum holdings. It's now a separate entity, which is what we are pushing for most clubs that are institutional run to be able to do. So imagine if you have a brand as FC Platinum, you're not only relying on the holdings, right? But now having other key critical investors, key critical partners. Even if the main partner says they are going out, you can still survive. You can still sustain. So this is where club financial sustainability comes in. Okay. So all these is under the function of the function of the finance. So you need somebody who understands this area, so that they set up structures for the club to be self-sustaining. Okay. That's the actual word, self-sustaining. And the other one? Then the last one is legal. Obviously it has to do with the registrations. Do we have statutes? Is the club properly registered? In most cases, those are always compliant. And obviously, the last thing is the declaration in respect of participation. Every club has to declare that they are going to participate, right? Under any circumstance. I didn't even know that we can't come in for few fixtures. Okay. That's where the declaration comes in. You have to declare that. It becomes a boozers league of some sort if you can't then fulfill fixtures. Exactly. But there should be a declaration of sort. So what happens to the clubs that fail maybe to satisfy some of the requirements of say the club licensing? Because you said there is the licensor. Does the licensor have power, or is it within their jurisdiction to de-license? No, not just de-license, not to issue licenses, because we actually issue licenses.
Right. Of the 5 pillars that the requirements that you just said, how many of these, if I have a club, do I have to satisfy to get a license?
All of them.
So you are saying the clubs that we have are satisfying all of this?
No.
So
no.
how then do we
how
have
That's why you see.
how do we have licensed clubs?
That's why you see the license knowing pretty well, how the context is trying to ensure that they accommodate. That's why I say there are a lot of key stakeholders that need to be accommodated. Hence the one that we gave an example of the technical. Yeah. So what we have then come in to do, this is what I've realized when we just came in. The concentration really, especially from the media, is FIB / homologation, which is wrong. It must be FIB / club licensing satisfaction or compliance.
Maybe speaking on behalf of the media, or not on behalf of the media. Let me not say that, but on behalf of the many people who hold that view, because I believe the media fraternity will be a bit more informed regarding what the FIB is and its jurisdiction because of the nature of the job. But maybe speaking on behalf of the people out there, I think we had gotten to a point whereby the crisis had become so big in terms of stadia, and to the extent that last season we literally did not have football in the capital city for some time, and it's a thing that actually happened even this season. So many people then, when they heard of the first instance body, it was when words like homologation were being pronounced and being said to the masses out there. People didn't really, we were so bad to the extent that talking about how illegal some clubs are was
but look at it, Bevan. Like I say that when we started this conversation, these 4 pillars are within the club's jurisdictions or within their capacity. If they want to professionalize, if they want to be profitable, if they want to grow. But this one is outside. So I think somehow we allowed our crisis to take us a bit out of let's say out of focus or context in what we are supposed to do. But the stadium, in most cases, if you look for a club like Manica Diamonds, they can't do anything with Sakuva Stadium because it's owned by
local
by the municipal, and in most cases that's a multifunctional stadium, facility which doesn't just cater to football. So if you look at that and say because the upper crisis in Gatkanganwe go to Manica Diamond actually club here, Manica Diamond actually is it doing the right thing? Then we focus on something that is outside their jurisdiction and ignoring all these other 4 things that can make them a professional club.
Can I just
and being able to at some point get and build their own facility.
Can I just say something? This could be wrong. You're allowed to correct me. But if we get these 4 correct, right? You said administration, sporting, finance,
and legal.
We get these correct.
These are the ones that are for the club.
For the clubs. We've got those clubs functioning. We've got a system. We've got strategies. They're working as entities and they're making profits. Number 5 would not be a problem.
That's what I'm saying.
But we're concentrating on number 5. When these other 4 make the club capable of doing
number 5.
You know why? In my view, which I stand to be corrected again, I think we are concentrating on number 5 because of a background whereby football is taken as a recreation. It's taken,
which in any case it is.
Yes, but now the whole world has moved from that perception to say this is not just recreation. This is business, and these 4 pillars that we're talking about will bring sustenance to a business, to an institution. So if we are stuck in the past where football remains recreation, just recreation, and the commercial aspect of it is ignored, we are likely going to jump all these 4 pillars that can bring sustenance to the club and jump to, because all what people want is entertainment, not a field of play.
That's why we're concentrating on the stadium.
on the stadium.
You see,
Because we need somewhere to play the game.
that's where the problem is. I'm okay. I can take football as recreation. I'm a fan. I go there, I get to have fun. But there is absolutely no way that football administrators would take that as recreation. Like, you're going to a job,
You're
right?
going to a job.
You're getting paid, and then you take that. It's like me coming here and say, hey, this is a hobby.
It's my hobby. It's just
For me here as obvious as a guest is a hobby. But for you guys, it's
not a
why.
hobby. It's like the player. Yes, as much as you can say it's a hobby because they like playing football, but nowadays
It has to feed the family.
Some of them, they are doing it to feed the family.
Yes.
It's now a profession.
It's a profession, not
It's a
on the
profession,
basis
yeah.
of you look at how serious some of the players are on the field of play.
Exactly, it's a profession.
I'm not joking.
It's I'm at work, and this is how, from the players to the administrators to the regulators, obviously the national regulators, and obviously the compliance, obviously the compliance wing of our football, which is if ought to look football in those lenses. This is an industry. It's a big industry, right? That needs all these facets. So, like how Innocent has just put it, if these four are functioning, we won't be talking about the fifth one. Why? You know why? Because Cape United by now, Cape United is a big brand.
Okay.
So I'm saying, imagine the 2000.
I didn't say that.
Imagine the 2006 Caps,
2004.
4 to 6 Caps, and how good that team was. And if we had a club running, how profitable was that team going to be? Especially looking at where we are now. But now Cape United, not okay. If they wasn't going to own their own pitch, probably by now they should have had a long lease, probably for Gwanzura Stadium, and running Gwanzura Stadium like what Mandawa and what the Shawani Council and FC Platinum have gotten into. But now, if in any case, I'm thinking, does Caps really have money to renovate Gwanzura or
Rufaro?
Well, I'm not Rufaro is too big for them. You didn't hear me. So probably because I'm actually thinking if these clubs are well, the Etihad it's council owned, but because Man City is bigger than the council, they probably obviously got a long lease. They can do whatever they want with Etihad.
99 years.
Exactly, as good as you own it. So if the clubs are functional and viable, it's easy to get the stadiums going. Quite easy. In my personal view. This is why I said I think we need to dispel this FIB/homologation. It's, for me, I think this is what I've always been saying. All the clubs that we have visited, I've always said, no. The way we are doing it is wrong. We can't be talking about club inspection is club inspection.